Karen Carpenter. The landscape of country music history. Karen Carpenter was born on September 14, 1942 in Fort Worth, Texas. She grew up in a ranch house with her horses to her own heart. When Karen was 6 years old and her mother and father was singing at the church, at the age of 10, she would notice her to her own school for her life. At the age of 12, she signed in 2 Decca Records for her own life. In 1958, at 15 years old as a rockabilly singer at Sun Records, and her debut album was in 1959. She was 16 at this time. At 18 years old, she refuses her rockabilly to Elvis Presley, could sing and dancing with her friends. Until now, Carpenter has been on a studio recording for all the other things. In 1964 to 65, she recorded a whole lots of songs like Before I'm Over You. In 1966 and 1967, she released 2 albums, You Ain't Woman Enough, Don't Come Home A-Drinkin'. In 1968, her voice type was an soprano from her first concert at a local music. In 1971, her first producer is Billy Sherrill in her studio at Columbia, Nashville, Tennessee. RCA was ended in the 1960s because she was scared. She requested 1970s country music scene, and her vocals are on a list. Voice type, her smooth, warm, honey-voiced country soulful vocals. She refuses to drink 8 glasses of water and avoid fatty foods for 24 hours. Instead of sodas, Carpenter refused to have coffee in the morning. She had been in a house for years. Carpenter released her 2 albums in 1975, It Ain't Easy and Voice of the Heart, and was produced by Billy Sherrill. Carpenter released her 2 albums from 1976, Love Notes and The First Word in Memory. Was produced by Billy Sherrill. Carpenter released her singles like I Just Fall in Love Again. Carpenter released her 2 albums from 1973, From the Heart and Free and Easy. Carpenter released her song Delta Dawn. It was released on the 10th of June, 1973, and it was a classic song. In 1978, she requested to Barbara she wanted to make a cover of a Sleeping Single in a Double Bed. In January 1979, she received a 1970s film of a man that would never get any worse. In March of 1979, she made press photos and then country music singers to make a problem with her music career. In June of 1979, she studied her musical instructions. She made her album As We Should Be Together. It was 10 tracks. In the summer of '79, she made unreleased songs from 1975 until 1979. Her voice was mezzo-soprano for warm, smooth, country, soulful vocals. Her mother looks good too, but why did I just get... She signed IT to Columbia Records in Nashville. Her vocals were also known for her singing. She made more original and covers. She blending country and pop music, rhythm and blues, some smooth soul, jazz, slow waltz with her voice in a quiet room. Her vocal technique, which emphasized low-volume singing with excellent mic control to maximize clarity, produced a sound that was both lush and balanced. She signed out of RCA in 1986. She also signed 2 Capitol Records in '88. She looks for a new producer in the world as Jimmy Bowen, the world of 1990s country music. In 1980, she signed 2 RCA records again. She also released her album Love is Fair and the single Crackers. In 1982, she also released her album 16th Avenue is on the Way Now. By the time in 1983, she also released Dream Baby on vinyl and CD for her to get out the room. By the time in the 1980s, she received it for the first second for her healthy body to be the best person ever. In the late 1990s 2000s, she released 2 more albums, Is Boostin' Back, and a tribute to my heroes. The restored Karen Carpenter in 2004 DM Records was released, The Bluegrass Sessions. In 2006, she also signed in 2 Geffen Records for the first time. In January 2007, she also has lost a lot of weight to her own diet and Jesus. In 1965, she released her album Hymns with her own songs. In 1970, she also recording A Coal Miner's Daughter, Loretta did, recorded. In 1970 and 1971, she released 2 albums all by herself. She was having hard times. Karen Carpenter's weight fluctuated drastically due to anorexia nervosa. But by the time of her death in 2023, she weighed around 70 to 95, a dangerously low weight. For Karen Carpenter's funeral, songs reflecting love, loss, or new beginnings, like her own We've Only Just Begun, Where No One Stands Alone, or For All We Know, would be fitting, as well as reflective songs. In 1980, and she released another album as Hard Times for RCA Records, Inc. He took some photos of Karen Carpenter from 1975 until 1976. Her drawings are so cute and her hair looks like her mother in a casket. Her grandma see her son Carpenter had a ugliest sandwich, soaked in peanut butter and anchovies and slap on the floor of the death. Her vocals was compared to Karen Carpenter, Crystal Gayle, and Anne Marie, Janie Fricke, and more. In 1958, a young Karen Carpenter launched his career with a higher-pitched, rockabilly-influenced vocal style, quite different from her later famous career in the 1970s. A warm, country, soulful vocals. Yes, Karen Carpenter was light-skinned, renowned, an American country music singer and songwriter. Dominant in the 1970s, Karen Carpenter meet Johnny Cash on his flight to Nashville. The queen of country pop icon Karen Carpenter dies at 80, a sad story of her own death. In 2011, she a older age country music icon in Nashville sound at Grand Ole Opry. She noticed it to her alto voice or mezzo-soprano she said she would never get. She requested looks like the 1970s country music icon, and her voice looks warm and cozying. In the 1980s, Karen requested her perms and was kind of good for her music album and performance. At 74, Carpenter last performed She Sang, tribute to Carpenters. In 2020, Karen received her last album is A Cowgirl Country Christmas. In 2021, Karen received her last album, Here You Are. In the 1990s, Karen Carpenter's voice was a contralto voice. The Cornery Carpenters was a pop-styled American country music trio. Fron 196-81986. In 1971, Karen Carpenter, Natural Hair is Straight Hair and Bangs, The Legacy of the Carpenters. In February 4, 2023, Karen Carpenter died at 80 at 9:40 a.m. Say goodbye to Karen Carpenter. Sad tears and sadness are so angry about Karen Carpenter's legacy. Thanks for watching this video. Check out the subscribe button.